Happy weekend, everybody. Welcome to Weekend Update. And let's start with NASDAQ. You can see this is weekly channel, and you can see each candlestick represents a week of price action. And you can see what happened here. We always bottom between these green and red EMA line on weekly chart. You can see we touched here. Just undercut green line and then bounced. We made a lower high, and now we are again came very close to the red line. And that's why if you're watching my channel regularly, you know I was telling the worst case is this red line. And look what happened. This weekly we got a doji. So doji is an undecision candle. And now if next week we close above that, that means bottom is in. And today around 1 hour before, we got a news saying US shutdown will not happen. Government shutdown is extended for 45 more days. So that's going to be pretty much very bullish for stock market. And I'm expecting a gap up on Monday. All right. And you can see I received a doji. The price action was doji. You can see every time we receive a doji, we bounce. Okay, you can see here doji, we bounce. You can see doji, we bounce. Okay, whenever price is in a channel and we receive a doji, you can see here you can see doji, we bounce. All right, so now we're getting a doji. So I think the bottom is in most likely, and we are ready for a bounce. And there are two scenarios from here. Okay, okay, let me go to daily chart. The first scenario is we bounce. We bounce with this yellow line. We get these yellow lines are gaps on the top on hourly chart. These are gaps which are not filled. So first scenario is we go higher, fill this yellow gap, and then we go higher, then maybe do a higher low and then go to new all-time highs. And my target for this year is above this year 16,746. And second scenario is we fill this gap, yellow, the green line, we fill this yellow gap, and then we come make a new low. Okay, we can make a lower low with some divergence on PPO and RSI that time, and then we'll go higher. So regardless which way we go, we're going higher. Okay, so long term, by the end of this year, my expectation is to make a new high. So just be patient. If you haven't bought, still this is a very good opportunity. Look to buy and hold. Okay, do not panic. Look to buy and hold. And if you can hold till December, I can guarantee you will be at new all-time high. From close on Friday to previous high is almost 8%. And if we go to new all-time high from here, we can even try to extend this. Let's say from here we go to new all-time high, so it's going to be almost 14%. All right, so a lot of percentage of gain is left by the end of this year. So be very careful and do not try to blindly short this market. All right, okay, let's go to triple Qs, which is the same thing. And let me get rid of this the weekly chart. Let me get rid of daily moving averages. And let me hide this to make it a bit clear so you can see what's happening. Same thing, triple Q is the cash index. We cannot buy NASDAQ, so we buy triple Qs. And you can see this trend line was broken, but we came very close to support. This is the support, this previous support, we are still holding above this. So if I draw a support box here, just to make things easier for you guys, you can see this whole support box. Slightly higher here, you can see support here, we came back here, support, we came back here, and now we're bouncing. All right, so triple Qs is looking very nice and in the buy zone. And SPY S&P 500, same thing. My preference is to go fill this gap. Actually, let's go to 1 hour chart and let me hide these extended hours. And we did fill this gap. You can see this gap was filled. So let me delete this. So I did not update on Friday. And you can see now there are other gaps on the top. You can see this gap is here. So my preferred scenario is fill this gap, massive bounce, then make a higher low and then go higher. And the other scenarios which I told you on the other side. And you can see now we are always again back on this trend line. Actually, we closed below. We were back on this trend line in the morning and then we closed below it, but this gap is here, so it looks like we are heading towards a new high. So S&P 500 to the previous high, it's around 7%, and the new high is around 12.5%. all right. Dow Jones, same scenario here. This gap is not filled, so I'm expecting a gap gap to be filled soon, maybe on Monday, and then make a high low and bounce. IWM, same thing, gap fills, high low and bounce. So you can see all indices are looking bullish, and I'm expecting a bullish price action. All right, let's move to gold. Gold is again in the buy zone. You can see this whole area, gold was down 0.87%. Very oversold on daily chart. Let's go to hourly chart. You can see we start to get some divergences. What divergence means? Price is making a lower low, but PPO you can see making a higher low, and even RSI, this indicator here, making a higher low. All right, so and now you can see we draw this trend line. We broke towards it in the morning, but then we came back under it. Okay, so we need to extend this trend line and see only buy if we close decisively. Maybe let's go to daily chart. If you can close, no, this is not clear here. So you need to close above this and stay above this trend line. Okay, until that, it looks very bad. And gold, although it's short term, it's very oversold. The reason is if I bring EMA lines, you can see it's so far away from all EMA lines. So we could expect a short term. Actually, this is filled. My projection is done. So I am expecting a short term bounce. And then after that, let me get an arrow. So I'm expecting a short term bounce, higher low, and then go higher. All right. So this is what my expectation is on gold. Silver is breaking down. Let me hide these EMA lines, and this projection played out, so I'm going to delete this. And again, I would really like silver to go above this trend line. So let's see if silver can go above, make a higher low, and then go higher. So that's what my expectation is. Let's see if that happens or not. We'll see. Natural gas is nicely on this trend line. Look to buy all the dips on this trend line. Nothing changed, so everything is looking good. Oil selling off, and again on this resistance, and this is where I expect weakness. It's not able to close above that, so maybe oil would have seen already a top of this. You can see we made a high low, and with the divergence on RSI. And let me show you here. You can see what I was telling you. You can see RSI was making a lower high, and even PPO made a lower high here, but price action made a higher high. So that means we are getting some divergences right now. So which means we got to be careful, and crude oil can come sell off more to around $83 before it can go higher. Dollar breaking out, it broke out and then failed, and then again this resistance, or you can say support, try to break out. So if it fails below this, that's going to be bullish for stock market and gold and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is holding nicely. Again, I have buy signal. Green line is above red line. You can see here PPO green line is above red line. Everything is looking good and nicely on the support. And my next target is 32K, and Ethereum is same thing, looking very bullish, and actually it's bullish than Bitcoin. So you can see it's made a 1 2 3, so it made a high low compared to this previous low, and now it's looking just like a bottom forming pattern. And Ethereum, the next target from here, it could go towards the end of this year 20% up to $2,000. Okay, and Apple, again, all these are in nice support box. You can see support zone. Apple is near support, so a lot of bullish option here. And to previous high, to previous gap fill, almost 14% upside. So you need to decide if you want to Apple now, buy Apple now. And you can see what's happening. You made a new low, and divergences. This is very important. Apple is making a higher low on PPO. High low on RSI, price is going lower, so there's a lot of divergences are there. Tesla again holding this support very nicely, this support trend line, and everything is good. Looking for new from higher prices here. Microsoft also, let's go to 1 hour chart. This gap is filled, so you can delete this. And again, Microsoft is also on the support, so nothing changed here. Google also on the support, and let's go to 1 hour chart. Okay, this gap is also filled. You can see all these gaps usually get filled mostly 90% of the time. And now there's another higher gap around $144. Meta also consolidating near support. Look to buy the dip. There's a gap here around 322. That's my target. Amazon. Again, let's see if it can make a higher low or lower low. Okay, maybe my preference is it's going to gap up, make a high low, and then go towards new all-time high. Netflix looks like, let's go to 1 hour chart. I think there's some divergences are building. You can see PPO and RSI prices going lower. You can see what's happening on PPO, and you can see RSI is also going higher. So that's very good sign. So I think Netflix is about to bottom soon, and we're going to get a massive rally. Snowflakes looks like it gapped up, and this gap is not filled. So maybe on Monday it will try to do a gap fill and then bounce. So let's make that gap on 1 hour chart, something like this. And actually, let me make it a bit better. Yeah, like this. All right. NVDA also looking good, looking for a gap here around 468. AMD again broke out day before, like on Thursday, massive 5% pump. Now just consolidating before it's going to get ready for another pump again in the support box here. All right. Hang Seng Index not able to cross this trend line, so until it crosses it, it's around the trend line cross will be around, let's say around 7,900. Until that happens, be careful. Toronto Stock Exchange just consolidating multiple gaps to the upside. So you can see from here, it can still go higher to almost 5%. XIC is the ETF if you want to trade the Toronto Stock Exchange. This is like SPY for Canada. All right. And let's keep moving. Let's see what else is here. Let's go to bond market. Bond market is also divergence, keep going lower with divergences. So now this whole support became resistance. So let's make this red. This whole support became resistance, and this line is also red. So let's wait for this to cross. Until that, be careful. RSI is also showing some divergence. You can see here we're making a high low on RSI. Even on PPO, you can see same thing here, high low. So I think we could get a massive rally, but until we don't have a buy signal, to get a buy signal, you can draw a trend line like this and wait for a break of a trend line. Okay, something like this. All right, wait for this to break and then you can be bullish. Copper was in the buy box on Thursday and massive pump, nothing changed. Palladium coming closer to buy box, look to buy the dip. Wheat looks like breaking down, but I can still draw this multiple ways. I just want to be a bit careful here. It's quite possible we can draw a trend line like this, okay? And it's slightly there, okay? Something like this. It doesn't need to be necessarily always you can draw something like this, and still it's a backtest of this trend line in my opinion, although it's not the cleanest of trend line, but you can still try to make something like this, and this is where you want to buy. You want to buy on the backtest, although it keeps going lower, but you can see PPO is going higher, RSI is going higher, so still there higher momentum. Okay, so it's telling me this is like a fake out move before we go higher. Con, same thing, just consolidating divergence on PP and RSI. Soybeans in the buy box again. This is where you want to buy soybeans before a massive breakout can happen. Sugar also is consolidating, looking for back to this trend line. That will be good buy signal before it goes higher. All right. And Newmont Mine, gold miner, new low. But you can see what's happening. PPO is higher, RSI is higher. So this is still making a new low with the higher momentum on PPO and RSI. Let me delete this now, and multiple gaps to the upside. So I think from here it is quite possible it can start going higher to fill a couple of gaps. Gold miners also, you can see same thing, divergences on PPO and RSI. RSI, you don't have any divergence, but PPO has it, but multiple gaps to the upside. So let's see if gold can pop, it can help gold miners to pump along with it. Sectors, XLK, same thing here. Actually, this gap is filled. Let's go to 1 hour chart. No, not yet filled. So looking for same thing, higher, low, and go higher. XLE 2% down. Still, this gap is not filled. You can see my projection here. Looking for this gap to fill before it goes higher. XLV, healthcare sector, back on this support line. This is where you want to buy. You want to buy on support. It is on support. Perfect time to buy. Healthcare stocks, XLU consolidating, green. And let's see, you can see PPO with divergence, new low with divergence. RSI has no divergence, but on the long term, utility sector is always safe, so you should be looking to buy all the dips on utility sectors. Industrial, same thing, looking for higher low and go higher. Real estate sector, again in the support box, massive support box with divergences on PPO. You can see same thing. PPO is also making a higher low here. Okay, and RSI also, no, RSI has no divergence, so nothing changed on RSI, but one of the indicators is showing divergence, so that's a good sign. XLF breaking down, but this gap, let's see if it is filled. This gap is filled, so delete this. Now there's another gap up around 34.49. So let's go to daily chart. Let's see if it can fill that gap. So let me delete this, and let's draw another path here. So looking for this gap to fill, higher low and go higher. And I think that's about it. Okay, let's quickly show you the short-term indicators, the levels where these stocks are. Or let's quickly go to VIX before we go there. And VIX, you can see here, this purple gap is filled, so I can delete this. And VIX is green, but you can, let's see if we can see any divergence on VIX yet. You can see making a higher high with lower momentum on PP on RSI. That's an early indication of reversal. Lower momentum here, lower momentum here. Okay, and it's making also this gap. No, this is not a gap. This is $16 is a resistance. So let's see if VIX can sell off. That will be very bullish for gold and stock market. Okay, so this gap is here around lower 15. So if VIX can come down, that's going to be very bullish for stock market. Let's go to this indicator now. Short-term zones. Let me bring my custom indicator here, and you can see here what's happening. Oh, it's right indicator. Yeah. So US 500 is in the neutral zone, closed in the neutral zone here. Nothing, no trade zone. So if it goes below 42.67, look to buy. And US 100 also in the neutral zone, look for close below 414.581 to buy. This was in the sell zone. I told my members to sell here, take profits or short. And if you want to join, there's a link in the description of this video. You can join, and I provide pre-market and during the market trade updates to the members, and end of the update to everybody. So take benefit of that. It's very cheap. It's like $7 a month. In one trade, you can make a subscription for the whole year. And you can also ask all your questions you have in the chat. US 30 also, you can see actually it's near buy zone. And US 2000 is also near buy zone. Gold is near second standard deviation, very good time to buy. Silver is also near first standard deviation, good time to buy. Bitcoin live market here near sell zone, so good time to take profits. Ethereum also touched the sell zone, bounced, now near neutral zone. Wait for it to go above 1680 to buy again. All right. Okay, guys, good luck. Happy weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.